So a bearing of 300 degrees means I start north and I go 90, 180, 270, another 30 degrees means that I'd be going in that direction. So you're starting at north and you're going clockwise. So if I look at an aircraft, a bearing of 60 degrees, a bearing of 240 degrees, a bearing of 340 degrees, because you're always starting at north. So a liner leaves port and sails 15 kilometers on a course of 37 degrees to a position of Q where it changes course to 270 degrees and sails 12 kilometers to a point R. We need to complete this sketch. For Math 20-2s, this is question number 6 in your assignment. So flip to question number 6 in the practice questions. So we leave point P. We are going on a heading or sailing 15 kilometers on a course of 37 degrees to Q. What this means is if I started at P and I looked at where north is, my bearing of 37 degrees is this. This angle in here is 37 degrees. Not this little piece, not all of angle P, just this part, because I start north and I go 37 degrees. I travel 15 kilometers, and then I get to point Q. At point Q, I change course to a bearing of 270 degrees. There's my north-south line, 270 degrees. So if I think of this, this is 90, 180, 270 degrees. That's all of that part. So this is all 270 degrees. And I sail 12 kilometers to point R. And the question that I have to answer is, what is the distance from R to P, and what is the course? So the course meaning when I'm at R and I'm looking at north-south again, I need to figure out this in here. That's going to be my angle bearing. So take a couple of moments and see if there's information you can figure out about any part of this triangle. Let's say we call this point T. What can you tell me about triangle PTQ? What kind of triangle is it? It's a right triangle because this, if it goes due north, is going to cross this at a perpendicular line. So if this is 37 degrees and this is 90 degrees, what is this piece right here? So in that triangle, angle Q is 53 degrees. I now have in my triangle PQR, I now know that angle Q is 53 degrees, RQ is 12, and PQ is 15. And I want to know what PR is. How can I find out PR? What can I use? Not SOHCAHTOA. Why can't I use SOHCAHTOA? What do I need for SOHCAHTOA? I need a 90-degree angle. I need a right triangle. But I can use the cosine law. Thank you, Evan. So the cosine law would be PR squared, or Q squared, would equal 12 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 12 times 15 times cos 53. So determine that calculation for me, please. So what did you get?
152.34.
Does that sound right? No, I don't think you did it wrong. I think you forgot a part.
Oh, and then when you square root it, then you get 12.342.
So 12.3 kilometers I have to sail. Okay. The last piece of information that I need is that bearing. So if I go back to this diagram, this right here is 90 degrees. So if I could figure out what angle R was, my bearing would then be the 90 plus that angle R. So what could I use to figure out angle R? Could I use the sine law? Do I know what side Q is now? Yep. Do I have, so I have this, so I could use the sine law, or I could even use the cosine law. I could use the form of the cosine law where I isolate the cos. So it doesn't matter which one I use. Let's say I decide to use the sine law. Sine R over 15 would equal sine 53 over that 12.3 answer that I got previously. To get R by itself, I'd multiply, so I get 15 times sine 53 divided by 12.34. Angle R would be the sine inverse of that answer. Tell me what you get. So what did you get?
76 degrees.
So then the course would be the 90 plus the 76, which would be 166 degrees. So when I get to point R, I would then have to change my bearing to go on a course of 166 degrees to bring me back to P, and I would have to travel 12.3 kilometers to get there.